everyone, my name is Ernie and I'm here to show you how I crush my rocks, my gold ore rocks, for hopefully some gold. And I've had some of you ask me from my Facebook posts on how I did that, so I want to give you a quick insight onto how I do that. I previously had gone into the mountains here in northern Nevada and picked up some ore that I hope to have gold in them. I already pre-weighed 100 pounds. Here is my 100 pounds of ore that I poured out of the bags. Along with that are some tools that I use to crush up the rocks. I have my extreme power jackhammer for the larger stones, and of course I got my Bauer hammer drill, and I also have this 4-pound sledgehammer with this metal rod welded onto it to do a lot of hand crushing, along with this little mallet. And let's get to crushing this rock. There's about 20% of my rocks crushed up that I use with this hand stamper, and I crushed it up to this size here. And what I normally do, I'll get my dustpan and break it all up, get it in my dustpan, then I'll put it through my classifier. Learned that this process here works best for me. Whatever you choose to do will be best for you, but for right now, this is my process until I can get me a jaw crusher, which would chew a lot of this bigger stuff up so I don't have to do it by hand. Okay, we are through stamping up those gold ore rocks, and this is what it looks like. The majority of these rocks are hit with that sledgehammer, and so it works kind of like a stamp mill. And this is the product that we got after about 2 hours of stamping it. And this is the fine powder that we got. I don't know if you can see, I'll get it in the sun, but anyhow, this is what we got from that 100 pounds of ore. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to feed it through here into our rock crusher. It's a K&M rock crusher. It operates with these chains that are in the inside, and it crushes the rocks, and it will go through that screen there, down our sandbag chute into this 5-gallon bucket. And what's going to happen from there, it's going to crush these rocks down to this size here. And it will also give us some more of this fine powder of crushed ore. Once we get it down to this size, what I'm going to do, I am going to change that screen right there to this screen right here. You can see the size difference in the holes. And what this rock crusher will do is crush the little rocks into the fine powder. Then what we will do, we will wash it through our wash plant and get all our sulfide concentrate out of these rocks. Okay, here we are. About 40 minutes has gone by and we have crushed our gold ore into 2 buckets. We have the 1/4 inch size right here, and we have basically the talcum powder size right here. So this is our 100 pounds of gold ore crushed up in the K&M rock crusher. Okay, well, we have half of our gold ore ground up really fine. I'm going to begin to wash this so we can take the sulfides, the concentrate, out from the rocks that we don't need. And what I do is I get a spoonful, I bring it to the bucket that has water, and I sift it into the water so the water can begin to clean the sulfides out from our crushed ore. And I'll do this to the entire bucket, and then we'll bring it to the wash plant. And so what I normally do, now that I got the crushed ore in the box, wash out these rocks. I'll fill this up with water. And once I get it to the water to the top, I will pour it out just to get the mud out, or at least the color, so I can begin to wash out the rocks. You can see the dirt that is inside there, and with the water running through the crushed ore, it'll begin to wash the dirt off the rocks. It's a little difficult to do with one hand. And I will do this multiple times, probably about 7 times per bucket. And you can see all the dirt that's just coming off of there. So when I run this through the wash plant, it will make it so much easier to run it through the sluice box. Okay, so here we are. We got our 2 5-gallon buckets of crushed ore washed out. Now we're here at the mighty $40 sluice box that I picked up at some store in Carson City last year, and it works perfect for this. It's not the best sluice box, but it catches what we need. And this is what we do. Now that we got the ore washed out the best we could, then what we do, we come and we get a spoonful, and then we begin to feed it into the sluice box. And what happens is that the water that's running down the sluice box washes away the sand and the silica that we don't need, and it keeps a lot of the sulfides. I don't know if you can see the sulfides in there. The sun's not shining in the right direction, but we're going to do this for the entire bucket. Then what I do, everything that runs out of the sluice box goes into our Garrett Super Sluice Gold Pan. I'll take what's inside there and bring it into our black tubs over here and wash that out. The sluice box, the sulfides are so fine, no matter what sluice box I use, I lose some sulfides, but we catch it in this gold pan, and we'll take it out when we cleaned it out. This is what we have in our gold pan that I'm going to pan out in just a second. But if you look closely in this sluice box, you can see the sand, the silica, and as you get closer to the top, you'll see all the sulfides. I don't know if you can see that. And it looks like there might possibly be some gold inside there, but honestly, I can't tell. It's sulfides, and it looks more like iron pyrite to me, which iron pyrite is fool's gold. But let's pan this out, and we'll see what we get inside there. Okay, this is the sulfides that we got out of that pan, and you can definitely tell that there is pyrite in there. Those are the larger shiny pieces, and all those sulfides in there, and I'm not sure if that's gold. I really need some help here. But anyhow, this is fun, and let's keep going. I'm sorry I didn't do such a great job on showing you the concentrate, but it's in the pan right now. I'm roasting it. Actually, I really want to dry it out, and I'm going to turn the sulfides into oxides, and so this is what's happening right now. The water is done boiling, and now our concentrate is drying out with the heat from the fire, and you're able to see the concentrate inside the wrought iron pan. I'm hoping to have a little over 100 grams, because I know there's some sand in there. I don't know exactly how much sand, but we want to roast this so that the sulfides turns into oxide. Okay, here we are. Our concentrate is roasted. It is now oxidized, and we have 173 grams of concentrate. Maybe asking, Ernie, what do you expect to get out of the smelt? Well, what I'm expecting, and I'm hoping to get some gold, possibly some silver in this little button once we get done with the smelt, because in this area up in northern Nevada, there is gold and silver, and that's why we're called the silver state, because there's a lot of silver mixed in with the gold ore here in northern Nevada. So I'm hoping to get both silver and gold, and we'll find out after this process. In this smelting process, what I'm going to use today to mix in with my 173 grams of concentrate, I'm going to mix in an equal amount of basically 170 grams of borax, 170 grams of Chapman's flux, and 170 grams of soda ash, 40 grams of potassium nitrate, and 40 grams of litharge or lead oxide. So here we go. What I did add in here, which I did not show you, was 20 grams of flour. Flour helps activate the litharge. I'm going to mix this up so it'll be mixed evenly, and then we will put half of this in the crucible. The reason why I'm only going to put half of this in the crucible is because there's so much concentrate, or actually there's so much material here, is that I want to prevent a boil over. We have our crucible warming up in the smelter. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take the crucible out. I also added in 2 pieces of rebar, which will attract the lead and the material that's inside the concentrate. And I'm going to add in half of our material into the crucible. It'll be about 20 to 30 minutes before this is melted enough before I can add in the rest of the concentrate. We have added in the rest of our concentrate flux, and we will wait for probably about an hour for all of this to mix together and melt, and we'll pour it into our cone mold. Okay, our material is finished smelting. The cone mold right here is already warmed up. The first thing I will do is pull out the rebar. And now I will pour the material into the cone mold. Our cone mold has cooled down. Actually, it's been several hours since I got done with this. I was out on our side-by-side with my grandson. And so anyhow, here is the cone that we got out of the cone mold. There we go. And we're going to see what kind of a cone we have here on top. So here is our cone that we got. All right, I have preheated my cupel in my little homemade smelter. Now I have my lead button, my lead cone that I'm going to put in here. And what's going to happen is as this lead heats up, it's going to melt. And as it oxidizes, with the oxygen in the air, the cupel will start absorbing the oxidation of the lead button until the lead button or the lead cone is completely dissolved, and it will leave whatever precious metals we have on the inside. Here is the result of our cupel. You can see that the bead is a silver, and it looks like it may have a little bit of gold in it. Let's weigh this up. We have 0.164 of a gram. 0.163 of a gram. I guess it depends on which way the wind is blowing, but this is what we got out of our 173 grams of concentrate. I hope you enjoyed this video of how I smelt my gold ore that I picked up here in northern Nevada, and I encourage you to join me in my next video.